Welcome back to the Bettors on Wednesday morning, 28th of April. We are doing our job breaking down the slates again. NBA and MLB, we have two huge slates, so we are getting right into it, not wasting any time whatsoever. NBA, as I said, this is going to be quicker. I'll try to break down all the games in like 10 minutes. We are not going to have too many NBA wagers for the rest of the season. Teams are tanking, sitting out starters. Teams are mostly logged into positions. And yeah, lines are quite efficient in my opinion. Atlanta, Philadelphia, 8-point spread. Philadelphia as a home favorite. I would make this around 4 if Atlanta was fully healthy. So we see a 4-point-ish correction towards the Sixers. Hawks without Trae Young, most importantly. Snell, Reddish, Hunter, Herter all out. Philly with only Mike Scott as questionable. Sixers are 1.5 game back from the first seed. But I still think they will likely finish in first. Brooklyn still has to play Milwaukee twice. They also play the Nuggets, the Mavs, so a pretty tough remaining schedule. While basically this is the most difficult game for Philly remaining in their schedule. I think they will play Miami once and the Spurs once. Those are two maybe losable games, but they are playing Atlanta twice, and that's it. The rest of the teams are very easy matchups. So I think they could go on a win streak and finish in the first seed. I make this around 8.5, so very slight value on Philly. Both teams are pretty strong at rebounding. They have good free throw rates. Philly is one of the better teams when it comes to defending the mid-range jumper. While the Hawks are kind of struggling on the other end. I wouldn't want to touch the Hawks here. It's Philly or bust for me. I think there is a slight line value, but not enough for me to get involved. Orlando at Cleveland, 2.5-point spread. You are not going to want to do anything with this game. This is the team with the second worst record and the team with the sixth worst record. One team is 1-9 in the last 10. The other is 2-8. Whoever tells you they know what will happen here is a liar. LA Lakers at the Washington Wizards, 3-point spread. Lakers road favorites. I think there is slight value on the Wizards here. My number is closer to 1.5 to 2 here. But the matchup is really good for the Lakers, so I think that's kind of factored in. Wizards really making their money by drawing free throws and being good from mid-range. Lakers are allowing the 7th least free throws to opposing teams, and if you look at field goal percentage allowed, they allow the lowest field goal percentage against mid-range jumpers. I think this is probably a really good matchup for the Lakers. The Wizards are also a pretty bad defense in the paint. They are 24th in field goal percentage allowed. The Lakers get to the rim at the 6th highest rate, and they hold the 8th highest field goal percentage there. We are likely getting like 30 to 35 minutes of Anthony Davis. He's looking slightly better. I kind of agree that the Lakers should be slightly overpriced, but I think if you look from a numbers perspective, there is value on the Wizards. Charlotte Hornets at the Boston Celtics, 7.5-point spread. Boston, both teams are coming off a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. They did both lose last night. The Celtics lost to the OKC Thunder. I really cannot find anything more embarrassing than that. Tatum was out. Tatum could be back for today, but Kemba is likely still out. For the Hornets, Melo and Hayward and Monk are still out. No official injury report, of course, as both teams had a game last night. Current softbook line is 7.5. I think that's fair. If Tatum is in, I would make this around 9. Boston by 9. If he's out, around 6. So this is kind of like a halfway number. I'm completely fine with that. The matchup is good for the Celtics overall. I think no matter where you look, the thing I would probably focus on is the rebounding. They are third in offensive rebounding. The Hornets are 20th in defensive rebounding. Yeah, I think Celtics should win this. They should cover this, but they never cover games, so I don't think you should really get involved. If Tatum is in and you get a 7.5, I think that's a good wager, but it's not for me. Chicago Bulls at the New York Knicks, 5.5 point spread. I make this 6. There are some fives out there. That's a borderline play for me, but not going to get involved. I think the Knicks are a bit playing above their head. The Bulls are still playing okay, middle of the pack team. They aren't like super terrible. They are one of the better teams in defensive rebounding, which is extremely important against the strong Knicks team that is strong at rebounding on both ends of the floor. If you look at the offensive efficiency, effective field goal percentage of the Knicks in the last 10 games, it's kind of amazing. So they started in the last 10 games around 55% effective field goal percentage. And in the last like 6 games, 59%, 55, 60, 65, 67, and 59 percent effective shooting. If you look in the last 2 weeks, they are putting up the most points per possession in the entire NBA at 122.8. It's amazing. So yeah, I think a 5 Knicks are the look, but if you like step back and look at these rosters, I think it's kind of close. The Knicks aren't like that much better than the Bulls, so I'm going to stay away. I hope the Knicks win. I'm rooting for them to just get a good first round matchup and then look good in the first round, at least in the playoffs. San Antonio Spurs, Miami Heat, 5 point spread. Hero and Nunn are questionable for the Heat. If they are both in, I would make this around 5. If they are out, then around 4. Line is where it should be. I'm offense isn't there for either squad really. And I just cannot trust the Heat. I'm hoping that they will put it together in the playoffs, but they look rough. They aren't a regular season basketball team. Spurs are kind of playing way better regular season basketball. Heat still 29th in offensive rebounding. Not really getting any better. They are 28th in field goal percentage from 3 point range. Not really getting any better. Yeah, I just cannot back this team for the rest of the season. New Orleans Pelicans at the Denver Nuggets, 4 point spread. Denver still without Murray. Murray's bottom. My line would be 6.5 with everyone in, so that's 2.5 point downgrade. Pelicans, big news for them. Steven Adams is questionable. Obviously, if he's out, this is a really difficult matchup. Interesting fact, these two teams played twice this season and the exact same final score happened 2 times. Both times the Nuggets won by 5. These are the two best teams when it comes to offensive rebounding. I think this is an okay matchup for the Pelicans. They put up the most shots in the league from 4 feet within the rim, and they are like middle of the pack when it comes to efficiency. Nuggets still allowing the highest field goal percentage in the entire league in the paint to opposing teams. Pelicans aren't a good defense, but they are decent at defending mid-range jumpers. That's important against the Nuggets. Pelicans also have the better defensive rebounding and the better free throw rate, but they play like trash recently. I wouldn't back them, but I think, as I said when these two played earlier in the season, I think this isn't a bad matchup for the Pelicans, and it's a winnable game, and a few lucky bounces here and there, and they could win this game, especially given how banged up the Nuggets are. I'm not going to get involved. Portland Trailblazers, Memphis Grizzlies. This is the third time these two teams play within a week or so, a bit more than a week. I think this line is really interesting. I found value on Memphis both of the times they played in Portland. And the Blazers were laying 3.5 and 4 points in the 2 games. And now they are 2 point dogs. I don't get that. I understand that this is a third and fourth and the back-to-back for them. but the Memphis Grizzlies also playing a third and fourth. And I mean, this is a huge correction. And if we kind of agree that the closing line was somewhat efficient, I don't think it really was in this case. I'm rating Memphis a bit higher than the Blazers. But I don't understand how they could move this line like 6.5 points. I tell you that it's really interesting that the Blazers were out rebounding this Memphis team in both games. They aren't really a strong rebounding team traditionally, and they had the better free throw rate in both games as well. I really cannot back the Grizzlies here. I would want it. My line here is around 2, so I agree with the market line. But as I said, my line was super off in the last 2 games when these two met, and I felt that I kind of got lucky getting away with 2 Ws. I still think the Grizzlies are the better team here. They are at home, fully rested. Third game in 4 nights for them, but that's the only knock on them. Blazers playing a back-to-back. They kind of kept the minutes low, though. Everyone played 31 minutes or less. Utah Jazz, 8.5-point road favorite at Sacramento. I cannot say anything really about this game. No Mitchell, no Conley for the Jazz. We didn't get an official injury report for the Kings. It's kind of pathetic that the league is really getting teams get away with that they don't upload an official report by the deadline, and they just can play the next day. Fox likely out, Bagley out, Barnes likely questionable, but as I said, we don't have official words, so these are just like guesswork based on what I could gather. If they don't really care enough to upload an injury report, I don't think they will really care about the game, the Sacramento Kings, and they shouldn't. They are out of it. Seventh worst record in the league, 3-7 in the last 10. Even without Mitchell and Conley, I think the Jazz should get the W, but I'm not laying almost 9 points without 2 of the best players. LA Clippers at the Phoenix Suns, 3.5 point is a spread. This was around 3 in other books. I think 3.5 is the better line. I would make this a pick'em normally. Kawhi is doubtful, basically out. I think he's worth more than 3 points. The matchup isn't good for the Suns. They have bad offensive rebounding and bad free throw rate on the offensive end, while the Clippers are pretty good at that defensively. But I would still lean towards the Suns here. I think this current run of the Clippers, they are 9-1 in the last 10, and they didn't really have Kawhi, and they have tons of other injuries. Paul George is really carrying them. Phoenix is just more healthy, and that's going to matter a lot heading into the playoffs. I think I would make this Suns -4 if I would have to set a line here. All right, that's it for NBA. No place from me. We are talking some baseball, way better card and way more value here to be found. First game on the slate, Minnesota Twins at the Cleveland Indians. J.A. Happ at Logan Allen. Minnesota Twins light road favorites. This is a game where I hate both pitchers and I really want to bet the over. J.A. Happ coming off a nice little outing against Cleveland, but if you look at, he's pitching against them again, and if you look at his stats, like the big picture, I think it's kind of ugly. He has a 5.2 Sierra, only a 16% strikeout rate, 6% swinging strike rate, not really missing any bats. He's allowing a 44% fly ball rate, 87% contact rate. All the metrics that show how lucky he is shows us that he's really lucky. His velocity is also down on his fastball. I'm not liking him, and his one good outing was besides Cleveland. I think it came against Pittsburgh, so you cannot really take away too much from that. Logan Allen, 6+ ERA in 14 innings. He has a 4.7 Sierra. Walks almost 10% of batters faced, 7% swinging strike rate, 40% plus hard contact, 80% plus contact rate. Really ugly numbers overall. Neither of these bullpens are that amazing. Wind is blowing out 10 miles per hour plus. Total was opened up at 8.5, and it was juiced to the over end, but it's now already 9 on Pinnacle. That would be my lean, but I mean, if you look at the overall talent level of these two starters, I could see them either of them delivering an okay game, but I don't think they will, and I think this could be a higher scoring early game, especially with the wind helping us. So yeah, no dice from me. My line is Minnesota minus 117, minus 116 is the line, so spot on. Miami at Milwaukee, Sandy Alcantara at Zach Godley. Godley came back. This will be his first start. He got called up. I remember when he was good, like in 2016 or 2017, he had like a 3.5 ERA each season with Arizona. Yeah, he's not good anymore in the last few seasons. He has been embarrassingly bad, like 6+ ERA. Now this will be his first start, called up from the alternate training side. It's really difficult to get into form there. I think he might get hit even against Miami. Sandy Alcantara is a really nice arm for the Marlins. 3.3 ERA, 3.7 Sierra, 26% K rate. His only red flag is the walk rate. That's a bit too high at 9.1%, but he's missing bats, 14.4% swinging strike rate, ground ball rate above 50%, almost no hard contact. He's looking real good. Line drive rates under 19% against both sides, hard contact under 27% against both sides. We already seen him for 30 innings this year, so that's starting to become a sample size. Milwaukee, 81 WRC plus against right-handed pitchers, 28% K rate. I think that's a great matchup for Alcantara, to be honest here. With Godley, I mean, being such a huge question mark, I think Milwaukee should open up as a really, really slight favorite, like 50 to 53% probability. Anything above that, if we get like a plus 130 on Miami, I will be on them. I don't think we will, but we could see that. I mean, Miami, everyone is very low on Miami. Cincinnati at the LA Dodgers. Sonny Gray at Kershaw. Kershaw laying minus 200. My line here is minus 186, so kind of close. Sonny Gray, he is not really in season form yet. He started the season on the IL. Came back. All the signs point towards positive regression. He has an ERA almost at 8, but his Sierra is 4. 30% K rate, 12% swinging strike rate, but he's still walking too many guys. Velocity is slightly down from last season, only averaging 4 innings per game so far. He has a bad bullpen behind him. I understand why this is minus 200, but Sonny Gray is good and he could always just switch it on and roll here. But I think he will need a few games to get into shape, and I'm not looking to bet him here. LA should get the W, but they lost 2 games in a row against Cincinnati coming off that Padres series, so you don't really know anymore. KC at Pittsburgh, Mike Minor at Mitch Keller. KC very slight road favorite, minus 112 is what I see on Pinnacle. I make them minus 122, so I think there is a slight edge on the side. Mike Minor has been looking really, really good. Coming off a nice outing against Detroit. Overall, through the season, his stats are really nice. 4.1 Sierra, 23% K rate, almost a 12% swinging strike rate, hard contact under 25%. His velocity is up more than 1 mile per hour on his fastball, looking healthy, looking good. Pittsburgh, one of the worst offenses in the league. Keller, I think, I mean, the numbers aren't nice, but he had like 2 bad outings and 2 okay outings. I could see him pitch a nice game here. I've talked to some guys. I think if you get this total at 8 with the slight juice to the under, I think that's a bet. But Pinnacle already moved to 7.5. That's where it should be, in my opinion. This could be a very low scoring game. Hopefully KC won't get screwed by losing like 2-1 or something like that. Keller has a 7 ERA but a 4.5 Sierra. Walk rate still high, over 10%, 38% hard contact. His surface numbers are really bad, and he has a 25% or higher line drive rate towards both sides. I would still look. He could make this work, but I would still look at KC. Better starter, better bullpen, better offense, and basically a pick'em game. Boston at New York, Pivetta at DeGrom. DeGrom laying minus 250 like he should. He's the best pitcher on earth. Pivetta, 5.6 ERA so far. He has a 16.5% walk rate. He always had, not always, but had years and games with walk issues, and it looks like it's back. He's holding a 5+ FIP against righties. This could get ugly, but I mean, these are two of the better offenses. I'm expecting DeGrom to roll. I tell you that. I also say that I'm expecting some regression from the Red Sox. They are now currently second or third in xFOBA. Team xFOBA, I think they won't be able to hold on to that. New York Yankees at the Baltimore Orioles. Domingo Herman and Creamer. I don't know what Creamer's name really is. Doesn't even matter. I'm looking for runs here. We will see. The game is off the board. We don't have odds yet, but I'm looking for runs here for sure. Herman, his fly ball was down to like 90 miles per hour in the last outing. This is a guy that's normally throwing like 94 miles per hour. So like we saw a huge velocity dip. He has a 12% swinging strike rate, only a 5% walk rate, but hard contact rate at 47%, and righties are really getting to him in 14 innings so far. Sorry, not 14 innings. He has a 14 FIP against righties. Yeah. So 14 FIP against righties and the 460 WOBA. I really cannot support that with the diminished velocity. I mean, the Orioles are a bad offense, but if you are not healthy and I mean, a velocity dip like this suggests that he isn't really fully healthy, then you could run into trouble. Creamer averaging 3.4 innings per game only so far. He's walking 12% of opposing hitters faced. Swinging strike rate below league average. Velocity down 1 mile per hour from last year. Over is my look. We have an 8 mile per hour wind blowing out. This is a good park for offense. Great hitting weather. Only issues that Judge is out of the lineup for the Yankees, and these are two okay to good bullpens. So if one of these starters starts bleeding, they might stop that, and the bullpens could shut the opposing team down. But I think we are seeing like a 9+ total here easily. But the over is the only thing I would look at here. Washington and Toronto, Eric Fedde at Steven Matz. Matz laying minus 168 on Pinnacle. Steven Matz is great, but I don't think he's like minus 178. I show a small edge on the Nationals here. They are also positive regression candidates. There is a 40-point difference between their actual WOBA and the expected team WOBA. That's the highest in the MLB, tied with the Mets and the Indians, by the way. So they still don't have Soto. Fedde is not an arm that I like. He has been okay so far, but he only has a 6.7% swinging strike rate. Walks more than 10% of opposing bats faced, 86% contact rate. It's just not a profile I'm liking. Matz is looking really good. He should roll here. Springer should have made his Jays debut yesterday, but he was scratched. We don't know if we see him. But the Jays are the third worst team in xFOBA so far this year. They badly need some spark. We will see if Springer is in and Matz comes through, and this could be the game against struggling Eric Fedde, but I think the Jays are a bit overpriced here. Oakland at Tampa Bay, Irvin at Glasnow, minus 163 is the line. Slight value on Oakland, in my opinion. Make this Tampa Bay minus 147. So not enough value to play, but Oakland would be the side I'm looking at. Irvin, nothing special really. The issues with him is the high hard contact, 39%, 28% plus line drive rate against both sides. And I mean, the Rays do have some power, but he's still the value side here. Glass now, amazing stats, but I don't really have to promote him for you. 40% K rate, 16% swinging strike rate. Hard contact only at 21%. He has a 23% infield fly ball rate. Yeah, they are likely winning this game, but I think the Rays are a bit overpriced here. Chicago Cubs at the Atlanta Braves, Kendricks at Inoa. This is a really interesting game. This is a rematch from not too long ago, and both starters got hit real hard against the same team. And this total opened up at 9. And Inoa was pretty good besides the cup start, and Hendricks had like 2 bad starts, including the brave start and 2 okay starts. His numbers aren't looking nice, but he's always eventually finding out how to work around his age. Yeah, he isn't at his peak anymore, of course, but he's a smart guy, and he barely gives up any hard contact. I think he will kind of figure it out. So yeah, I think the 9 total is really high. We've seen Pinnacle move back to 8.5 since then, but you can find some 9s out there. I mean, Inoa is looking so good so far. His Sierra is under 3. He has a 30% K rate, only a 5% walk rate. He's missing bats, not giving up contact, not giving up any hard contact. He is giving up some hard contact, but it's not bad, and his contact rate is under 70% overall, which is pretty okay. And Hendricks, I think he will figure it out. So yeah, I think these are 2 okay pitchers, and we get a 9 total. That's pretty crazy. And I don't usually back pitchers pitching against the same team in a short period of time, but I think either or both guys could have a nice outing here, and that 9 total is giving you a lot of room for error. Philadelphia at St. Louis, Vince Velasquez at Johan Oviedo. Oviedo had 1 outing. He's got a bit of a hype now. He went 4 innings against Milwaukee, had 17% swinging strike rate, showcased the 96 miles per hour fastball. It's up considerably from last year. Had a 60% ground ball rate, 60% contact rate. He looked okay against Milwaukee, but I'm not really taking away anything from that. And Vince Velasquez, I mean, I know this guy for years. He's just too wild, giving up way too much hard contact for my liking. I'm not going to get involved here. I won't see Johan for another game or 2 maybe before I start buying in. And Vince Velasquez, I just know that he isn't good. He has a minus 10% K minus walk ratio against righties, a 60% walk rate, and a 6+ FIP against the right side of the plate. Honestly, I would only look at the Cardinals and nothing here. At least we know that Johan has some upside, but Vince Velasquez I don't think has any upside, to be honest. LA Angels at the Texas Rangers. Cobster, Alex Cobb at Dane Dunning. LA Angels minus 131 favorite. This is another game where I'm looking at the under. This is a great stadium for pitching. Weather has been relatively bad for hitting in the last few days also. The DFS guys I'm following for weather, they're all fading hitters in this park. And this is a really good matchup for Cobb. Rangers are striking out 30% plus against right-handed bats. They have like a minus 20 base run differential in such a short period. Cobb has a sub-3 Sierra in 3 starts, 31% K rate, 16% swinging strike rate. His ground ball rate is over 54%. Contact rate super low. I'm liking him. And Dane Dunning, you know about him by this time if you follow me. He's one of my favorite young arms. He has been nothing short of amazing for the Rangers so far. 3.5 Sierra, just a 5% walk rate, 51% ground ball rate. He has a 61% ground ball rate against right-handed pitchers, and this is an extremely right-handed heavy team. He's holding a 30% plus K minus walk ratio against righties. So yeah, I think both arms are great in a great pitching park, and we get an 8.5 to 9 total. I think this is the strongest bet of the day, the under here. I just don't see why this isn't a flat 8. I tell you that this should be 8. Rangers offense is super bad. These are two nice pitchers. Angels offense is slightly overperforming. Yeah, under. Seattle at Houston, done at Greinke. Greinke laying minus 200. Greinke still getting it done. Underlying metrics are uglier than ever. Just an 8.4% swinging strike rate, bullshit velocity. But he has amazing command and experience, and he knows how to make it work. Seattle is a bad team. I think Houston easily gets the W here. Astros are fifth in xBOBA. They are also I'm expecting them to regress positively on the offensive end. I think Greinke will be fine here. Detroit at the White Sox. Casey Mize at Carlos Rodon. Mize had 2 games in a row with a 10 plus FIP. He has amazing raw stuff, extremely talented, but he's not missing enough bets in the MLB yet, and the ground ball rate isn't helping him survive. He has a 55% ground ball rate, but anything else in his profile is looking bad. 83% contact rate. He's just giving up too much contact, not missing any bats, and that's bad against the White Sox. But Carlos Rodon, on the other end, he has tons of regression potential. He has a 0.4 ERA, but a 3.5 Sierra. Every metric that tells us that he will regress is telling us that he will regress super hard. 96% left on base rate, 5% home run to fly ball ratio. Betting average against him is 100. So yeah, he's going to get shelled here and there, but I'm not sure it's happening here. Detroit is a bad team. He also had walk issues, 11% walk rate, but the Tigers don't really walk. So yeah, I think this line is totally warranted. Minus 200 is the pinnacle line. I make this minus 194, so extremely close to that. We are rolling on. San Diego at Arizona. Weathers at Widener. Weathers is a guy I would really want to fade. But I mean, if you look at the total here, it's 9.5 basically. And we get Arizona on one side, who are not a great offense, and this is not an amazing park for offense either. So that tells you a lot. Weathers, this is his second start, I believe. He had 5 total outings, pitched in the bullpen before. He has a high K rate at 30%, but the swinging strike rate is under 9%. I think that will kind of regress, especially that now he's starting, and guys who are transitioning from the bullpen to a starting role are usually seeing a drop in the K rate, and I think we will see that here. He's giving up 44% hard contact, and the underlying metrics really suggest that he has been getting super lucky. He has 100% left on base rate. Betting average against him is less than 100 so far this season, and he has a 7.7% home run to fly ball ratio. So yeah, I would probably fade him in any other spot, but I mean, I'm not buying Arizona. And as I said, this is not really a great park for offense. But on the other end, Widener, similarly bad profile, 47% hard contact allowed, 46% fly ball rate. His velocity is down 1.5 ticks from last year on the fastball. Betting average on balls in play, super lucky. Left on base rate, super lucky. Against the Padres, I think he's going to get hit. But as I said, total almost at 9.5 with one bad offense and in a good pitching park. I think this is not bettable really. Colorado at San Francisco. Herman Marquez at Alex Wood. This is an underlook for me. Total is 7, but it's juiced to the over. I expected that we will see a 7.5, but it looks like it that we won't. I'm looking at the under. Haven't played it yet, but might. Alex Wood, he had two starts, 2.4 Sierra, 27% K rate, only a 2.5% walk rate, missing bats, 64% ground ball rate, only 29% hard contact. I really like the guy from. I think he was a really nice get for the Giants, and he will be good for the entire season. This is a great matchup against a weak Rockies team on the road. Colorado is a bit better against lefties, not as pathetic as against righties, but they are still not a good offense. Marquez, on the other end, looking good so far. 13% swinging strike rate, 60% ground ball rate. Contact rate is pretty low. Not giving up too much hard contact either. The bullpen behind him is terrible. That's why I haven't really pulled the trigger yet. I would need a better Rockies bullpen or a 7.5 here to play it. But I think both guys will have success here. High ground ball rates. Giants aren't bad, but I think Market can keep them in control. So yeah, if this gets up to 7.5, I might get involved. I'm also waiting for some weather updates for this game. All right, 35 minutes for both slates. Not too bad. Summing up my looks by plays. Miami Alcantara, I'm looking to back him. I'm fading Zach Goldie in his first start. I think Milwaukee should be a very, very slight favorite here. If we see like plus 120 or higher on Miami, I will be involved with them. KC, Mike Minor, almost a pick'em game. Minor is the better starter. They are the better offense, the better bullpen. I think this is a no-doubter play. I also like the under. Keller isn't looking amazing, but he's not a bad pitcher, and he could have some success here. If you split your wager between side and under, I think that's kind of fair. Yankees at Orioles, we don't have a total yet. I'm expecting like a 9+ total. If we get anything under 9, I will be on the over. I'm not liking either of these guys. Cubs at Braves, Kyle Hendricks, Huskari Noah, 8.5 total. I think is fair. If you can find 9s, I think that's way too high. Both of these guys have been struggling against the opposing team in the last outing, but they aren't bad pitchers, and I think they will find more success here. LA Angels at the Texas Rangers, another underlook. I like Cobb, I like Dunning. The Texas offense is bad. This is a good park for pitchers. I think this 9 total is extremely bad. This is probably the strongest look of the day. And then I'm waiting for weather updates and line moves in the Colorado Sun Front game. I'm really liking the under here. Both pitchers are great. Neither of these offenses are scaring me, and this is a good park for pitching. All right, thanks for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. If you want to tell my plays, you can go to patreon.com/thebettors and join the Discord channel. Please like the video or the podcast and subscribe. It helps a ton. And I will be back tomorrow at the same time. Thanks for tuning in.